officially 2 weeks out, folks. 2 weeks until the Pittsburgh Steelers report to training camp at St. Vincent College in Latrobe. You can call it the 2-week warning, the countdown, whatever you want, but make no mistake, the anticipation is real. July 23rd is circled in bold on the calendar because that's when every player on the roster is due to report, and that means football, real football, is about to begin. The very next day, the first official practice gets underway. But let's not fool ourselves. Even before the pads go on, there's already something happening behind the scenes, something bigger than just a few drills or a run test. This time of year isn't just about physical conditioning. It's not just about installs and walkthroughs and film rooms. No, the real value of training camp, especially for the Steelers, lies in something far more intangible, something that doesn't show up on stat sheets or in pro football focus grades. It's about chemistry. It's about brotherhood. It's about transforming a collection of talented individuals into a unit that can trust each other when the lights are the brightest and the pressure is at its peak. And look, I get it. Some of you might already be rolling your eyes. You hear words like camaraderie and team bonding, and you think it's all fluff. You want speculation. You want hot takes. You want talk about contract drama or surprise cuts or depth, shark chaos. But not today. Because what's brewing in Latrobe is something that matters more than any storyline you'll see on the scrolling ticker at the bottom of your screen. It's not clickbait. It's not hypothetical. It's very, very real. Ask any player who's been through it, whether they were a pro bowler, a fringe roster guy, or just a special teams contributor. Ask them about their time in Latrobe. Almost every time, what you'll hear is the same. Stories of connection, of growth, of learning what it truly means to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. For years, players have come back with tales not about touchdown grabs or sacks during drills, but about late-night conversations on the dorm steps, bonding over shared dreams and past struggles. And no, that kind of connection isn't automatic. There's no guarantee that every camp ends with a team full of best friends or perfect chemistry. But when it does click, when that culture starts to take shape, when guys begin to play not just for themselves, but for each other, that's when something special happens. That's when contenders are born. I'll never forget the stories I used to hear from guys like Troy Polamalu, Brett Keisel, Hines Ward, Aaron Smith, and the entire offensive line crew from that era. That group didn't just play together, they lived together. They made sure everyone, no matter their status or how long they were expected to be around, understood what the black and gold truly stood for. Troy especially was the kind of guy who made it his mission to pass on that legacy. He wanted the young guys, even those who might not make the final roster, to walk away, understanding what it meant to wear that uniform. And you know what? That kind of leadership doesn't disappear. It evolves. It takes on new forms, new voices. Today's roster doesn't have Troy or Hines or Brett. But that doesn't mean the mission is over. Far from it. In fact, this particular Steelers team may need it more than any group in recent memory. Why? Because this roster is loaded with new faces, new names, key players who will be counted on from day one and who frankly haven't been around long enough to fully absorb what this franchise is all about. Think about it. Aaron Rodgers, Jalen Ramsey, and John Smith. 3 major additions, and 2 of them haven't even shown up yet. Rodgers was barely around for minicamp, and Ramsey and Smith will be stepping onto campus for the very first time in just a few days. There's no time for a slow build, no luxury of easing into the system. These guys have to hit fast forward on the bonding process, and the only place that can happen is at camp. But that kind of transformation doesn't happen in a vacuum. It takes leaders, guys willing to step up and bring everyone else along with them, and not necessarily the guys you'd expect. This year, I think we're going to see leadership emerge from places that might surprise you. Now, let's take the defense, for example. You want someone who could fill that leadership void. How about Patrick Queen? Yeah, I know what some of you are thinking. Isn't this just his second year in Pittsburgh? Technically, yes. But in reality, Queen has already become one of the central voices in that locker room. He's wearing the green dot now, which means he's got the headset in his helmet and he's calling the plays. But beyond that, he's also become the elder statesman of that secondary unit, a unit that's been completely rebuilt over the last year. Think about that for a second. In today's NFL, where inside linebackers are often hybrid defenders, acting as extensions of the secondary, Queen might actually be the most experienced guy in that entire group. And last year, you may remember, he was the one being guided by veterans like Elandon Roberts. Now, it's his turn. The training wheels are off. And he knows it. We had that conversation back at minicamp. No more excuses. No more learning curve. This is his team to help mold. Whether he's ready or not, offensively, the leadership structure is even more intriguing. We all know who the quarterback is. There's no question that Aaron Rodgers is going to be the vocal leader on that side of the ball. But what about the cultural leader, the guy who embodies what it means to be a Steeler, who's been through the grind, who can help bring together a unit full of new starters? For that, I'm looking at Pat Fryermuth. Pat's been round. He's seen the ups and downs. He knows the frustration of falling short, and you better believe he's hungry to help change the narrative. He's not just playing for stats anymore, he's playing to win. And with so many new pieces on offense, especially at crucial positions, Pat could be the glue that holds it all together. That kind of leadership isn't always flashy. It's not about shouting in team meetings or hyping guys up on the field. Sometimes it's about the quiet stuff. The advice during lunch, the support after a bad rep, the shared laughs in the locker room. That's the stuff that turns training camp from a routine into a rite of passage. That's what builds identity. And here's the thing. People always ask if this kind of camp bonding still exists. The answer is yes. It looks different now. Players spend more time on their phones than they used to, and society as a whole has changed. But the core of it is still there. Players still find ways to connect, to build trust, to form bonds that carry over into the season. And for this team, in this moment, that connection is going to be crucial. This group is talented. On paper, they got the pieces. But talent alone doesn't win championships. What wins is unity, grit, belief. You don't get that in a film session or from a playbook. You get it by living together in dorms, by sweating through two-a-days, by pushing each other during wind sprints and then breaking bread afterward. That's what Latrobe is all about. That's why this camp matters, not just because of what happens between the white lines, but because of what happens when the cameras are off. Because when the season gets tough, and it always does, you lean on the guys you trust, the guys you bonded with, the guys who went through the fire with you in July. And let me just say this. Last year's team, they surprised a lot of people. They were written off by just about everyone outside of Pittsburgh. No one gave them a shot to start 10-3. But what they had was real chemistry, a real sense of belief. And that started at camp. That stuff isn't coincidence. It's earned. It's built. It matters. So yeah, every now and then we're going to talk about stuff like this. No rumors, no drama, just football. Real football. The kind that happens before the games begin. Let's get into something that came up during a listener question recently. A topic that always seems to stir up conversation. The wide receiver 2 spot. There's this persistent curiosity, almost urgency, about whether the Steelers are truly set at that position or if there's still a chance they might go out and grab another target before the season kicks off. The question that came in asked, when's the deadline for bringing in another WR2? When does the train leave the station and make it too late for someone to jump on board? Now, let me stop you right there because it's an important point to clarify. There really is no hard deadline for adding a receiver. Nothing on paper, nothing official. The reality is moves like that can happen deep into the preseason, even late in camp. Sometimes a guy becomes available out of nowhere. Sometimes another team decides to pivot or unload depth, and suddenly you've got an opportunity to strike. That's how this league works. Patience is often the name of the game. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. A major buzz is taking over the NFL world as rumors swirl about a potential blockbuster move involving the Pittsburgh Steelers and Buffalo Bills. Sources close to the situation suggest that the Steelers might be on the verge of acquiring elite wide receiver Amari Cooper from the Bills, a move that could drastically reshape Pittsburgh's aerial attack led by quarterback Kenny Pickett. While nothing is officially confirmed, the mere possibility of Cooper donning the black and gold has already ignited excitement among fans and analysts alike. AMARI Cooper, known for his sharp route running and reliable hands, has long been considered one of the league's premier receivers. His time with the Buffalo Bills has solidified his reputation as a consistent and dynamic playmaker capable of changing the course of games. The idea of pairing Cooper with Kenny Pickett, a young quarterback still carving out his NFL identity, has many wondering if this could be the missing piece to elevate Pittsburgh's passing game to new heights, the Steelers historically known, for their strong defense and physical running game, have been looking to boost their offensive firepower. Adding a proven talent like Cooper could provide Pickett with a trustworthy target who can stretch defenses and create mismatches downfield. Cooper's experience and skill set might not only open up the field, but also take pressure off the developing quarterback, giving him the confidence to make bigger plays. Meanwhile, the Bills' willingness to part ways with Cooper hints at a potential strategic shift, or a focus on building in other areas. Whether the Steelers are offering draft capital, a player package, or a combination of both remains part of the speculation. Analysts are closely watching any signals from both franchises to gauge if this rumored trade will come to fruition before the next NFL season kicks off. The buzz around Pittsburgh's possible acquisition of Cooper also raises questions about how this would impact the team's overall offensive scheme. Would the Steelers lean more heavily on the passing game? Could this move influence how they use their other weapons on offense? For Kenny Pickett, having an elite receiver like Cooper might be a game changer, offering him a go-to target in clutch moments and potentially accelerating his development as a franchise quarterback. While rumors in the NFL are common, the particular combination of Pittsburgh and AMARI Cooper has sparked a lot of excitement. Fans are already imagining electrifying highlights and big plays under the bright lights of Heinz Field. If this trade materializes, it could signal a bold step by the Steelers to compete at a higher level and challenge the top teams in the league. Len, in conclusion, though still unconfirmed, the whispers of the Steelers acquiring AMARI Cooper from the Bills create a compelling narrative heading into the offseason. The potential impact on Kenny Pickett and Pittsburgh's offense is huge, and all eyes will be on the negotiations as they unfold. Could this be the move that redefines the Steelers' aerial attack? Only time will tell, but the anticipation is undeniably building. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Pittsburgh Steelers, make sure to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.